One, two, one, two, one, two. Here we go. Welcome to the Catalyst Podcast, raw, real, and unedited. My name is Jason. Thank you all for showing up, all three of you dedicated, supportive people. I want to thank you. Well, you know the routine. You can find Catalyst at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can hear this podcast created through Spreaker on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeart, and Amazon. A catalyst has the power to create change, and we hope that's what this podcast will do. Now, if you, yes, you, no, not you, the other one. Yeah, no, you, yeah. If you'd like to be a part of this podcast as a guest or a contributor, you can email us at catalystmotivation561@gmail.com. Catalystmotivation561@gmail.com. Welcome back for episode 33 of the Catalyst podcast. And we're gonna kind of switch it up a little bit. We're gonna use a little parable to tell a story here. And the parable is going to be about bringing peace and not problems. This kind of is dovetailing off the last episode when we were talking about stoicism, and we're kind of talking about relationships and how, especially today, in today's world, especially men are looking for people who bring them peace and not problems. And you're seeing that a lot. Social media is all over with what men are looking for, and especially myself. I've passed the half century point of my life, and relationship wise always hasn't been successful. And we decided to try a new approach, but had to hit rock bottom to get there. And this is not an indictment of anyone. It was where I was at. The relationship I had failed. My mom was sick, ended up passing very quickly. And, my real father, I don't know if he's dead or alive, but the man I called my father passed three years earlier. And so, as far as family on my side, it's just me now. I mean, I have cousins and things like that, but my family's gone. So I was kind of like in a very, very vulnerable and weird place. And it's not an excuse. It just was. But I brought problems to my life, and I brought problems to the life of the person who I pursued, or who was pursuing me, however you want to look at it. And it's now continuing to be a problem, and it's not bringing peace. So let's take a look, or let's listen to this story to uncover the profound benefits of choosing peace over problems. Once upon a time, in a bustling village nestled between the majestic mountains, there lived two neighbors. We'll call them Sam and Alex. Sam was known for his perpetually peaceful demeanor, while Alex, on the other hand, seemed to attract problems like a magnet. Their lives took dramatically different paths despite living side by side. So one sunny morning, as the villagers gathered to listen to the wise elder share his teachings, Sam and Alex found themselves seated next to each other. The wise elder spoke. Dear villagers, imagine your mind as a garden. What you plant within will grow and flourish. Sam, tell us, what do you do to cultivate your garden? Sam spoke. I sow seeds of kindness, patience, and understanding. I nurture them with love and compassion, and in return, My garden blooms with tranquility and harmony. The wise elder nodded and then spoke again to Alex. And you, Alex, what seeds do you sow in your garden? Alex sits back and speaks. I plant seeds of sorrow, worry, anger, and resentment. I water them with frustration and fear, and my garden becomes overgrown with thorns and conflict and chaos. As the parable illustrates, the seeds we sow in our mind shape the reality we experience. When we cultivate peace within ourselves, we create a ripple effect that extends far beyond our own lives. Now, consider the story of Mahatma Gandhi, who famously said, "An eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind." Despite facing immense oppression and violence, Gandhi chose to respond with nonviolent resistance, ultimately leading India to independence and inspiring countless movements of peace worldwide. In every moment, we have the power to choose how we respond to life's challenges. Will we contribute to the cycle of conflict, or will we be the peacemaker who sows the seeds of harmony and understanding? Now, let's engage in a simple exercise together, okay? Here's what I want you to do. All right? I want you to close your eyes. No, go ahead. No, close your eyes. I see you're not closing your eyes. There you go. Thank you. Keep them closed. Take a deep breath. Now, what I want you to do is visualize a peaceful scene. It could be anything. A serene lake, a lush forest, a tranquil meadow. Okay. Feel the calmness wash over you as you embrace the power of the peace within. Listen to the water. Hear the animals. The silence, the peace. Envelop yourself in it. One of the most peaceful places for me. A place where I can really have my moment with God. In the mornings, before sunrise, on the beach, barefoot, feet in the sand, just walking. Especially during the summer when it's nesting season for the turtles, and you can kind of see them come up out of the water, beach themselves, make a nest. Hear the waves crashing. I see them go back into the water. See the little baby hatchlings come out and go into the water, make their way to the water. I'm just enveloped in the mist of the water and the sounds of the waves and the seagulls and the splashing and watching the earth come and wake up, or at least this part of the earth. It's very, very peaceful and tranquil and honest, and it just allows me to kind of be in that place where I can be honest and open and be able to share. It's a very, very amazing moment for me. It's a brutally honest moment, and really brings things into clarity. Where 2020 for a lot of people was a a harsh and painful time. 2020 for me was when my whole life changed. Everything changed. Um, I understood some of the fear that I had. I understood some of the pain that I was going through. I was understanding some of the abandonment issues. And sometimes when we get into a peaceful state, we're so fearful of it because it's so different from anything that we've ever dealt with before. It's so different than anything we've known before that we create chaos. We find comfort in it. We find comfort in the chaos. We find comfort in the saying that I can't and all bad things happen to me and life is terrible and the seven demons of hell. We find peace and comfort in it. Just like the person who won't leave an abusive relationship because there's a safety and security in it. Because it's something that's familiar. When we are changing, when we are growing, and when we are evolving and becoming something different, there's a lot of unknown and uncertainty. And in that uncertainty, there comes fear. And we have to fight it. We have to fight that fear. I can tell you this. In most of my life, I've found peace within myself. One of the big places where I wasn't able to find peace was with relationships. And, I want to be happy. I want to make somebody else happy. I want us to be a team. I want us to be happy together. I want us to inspire each other. I want us to grow. Know that there's going to be challenges and we don't just quit when things get tough. But I should never be the problem for that person. And that person should never be the problem for me. When you're in this relationship and you have an outside participant trying to come in and wreak havoc, it can really create a challenge. You want to find peace, you want to have peace, and you want to bring peace. There will always be people out there who don't want you to have peace. And you have to do everything you can to protect it. Protect your peace at all costs. It's so very, very important. So as we conclude, remember the words of Albert Einstein. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. So, I want to thank you for joining us. May you carry the wisdom of peace in your heart and sow its seeds wherever you go. Thank you so much for listening to the Catalyst Podcast. Raw, real, and unedited. You can find Catalyst at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can hear the podcast created through Spreaker on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeart, and Amazon. A Catalyst has the power to create change, and we hope that's what this podcast will do. If you would like to be a part of this podcast as a guest or a contributor, you can email us at catalystmotivation561@gmail.com. catalystmotivation561@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening to episode 33. We will see you episode 34. I hope you enjoyed this one. This is really fun. This is Jason, the Catalyst Podcast. Go be great.